What's up, everybody? It's Janessa here from Simply Eloped. I'm here for your tip of the week, and this week we are talking about 5 questions to ask your photographer. Number 1, if you already have your venue locked in, it's such a great question to ask. Do you have any experience shooting at this venue? You have to remember, not only is your photographer shooting your ceremony, they're also shooting the moments before and afterwards. At Simply Eloped, all of our packages include 1-hour photography, which is a 20-minute ceremony, and a 40-minute portrait session. So your photographer, if they have experience shooting at that venue, should know some really amazing backdrops and settings to take you for portraits before and after. Number 2, their style of photography. Let's say you're really nervous being in front of a camera and you need someone to tell you how to point your head, where to stand, how to engage with your partner. If you need that hands-on level dictation, you need a photographer who's really experienced and knows what they're doing. And I'll be honest, some photographers only do candid. They don't want to pose you. Maybe they don't know how to pose you. So if you have someone that's really, really candid and you need to be posed and set, that's a conflict. So ask about their style, and a really great way to know is to look at their portfolio, be it Instagram or on their website. Generally, you should know if it's the photographer for you just by looking at their photos and feeling in your gut that you want that person in that photo to be you. Number 3, ask about the delivery date and the delivery package. Every single photographer has their own offerings. It's very customized and very individual to each photographer. So whereas some people will send you a thumb drive, some photographers will send you a wedding booklet, some photographers will just send you a digital gallery. Really great to know what the package that you're paying for includes. At Simply Eloped, most of our packages include 1-hour photography, which renders a digital gallery of 75 images or more delivered 15 days or less after the ceremony. Now that is really special for one reason and one reason alone. The average photographer sends your digital gallery in 2 to 12 months. Can you imagine getting your wedding photos a year after you get married? It seems obsolete at that point. So it's a really important question to ask how shortly after your ceremony you should be expecting your images. And just know, Simply Eloped 15 days or less is a rarity in the industry. Number 4, how many images will you be sent? And this should include both the digital gallery and prints, as some photographers do send you some prints. So, mind you, you're really not gonna need more than 15 to 30 photos. Even if you create a booklet, you're not gonna be using hundreds of photos. So partially why they send you so many images is so you can choose your favorite ones. But nonetheless, it's good to know what you should be expecting. The 5th question should be, how involved does the photographer expect you to be? If the photographer is expecting you or a wedding planner to run the schedule, direct guests where they need to go for certain images, that's a lot of stress on your plate, especially if you don't have a wedding planner. So it's a really great question to ask what the photographer expects of you, because that might not be included in what you're paying for. The vendors you hire for your wedding day should essentially feel like your best friend for the day. They're here in service of you, your love, and creating this amazing event on behalf of this union between 2 people. The last thing you want is a photographer that doesn't get along with your guests, is pushy, rude, or just difficult to work with. You don't need that stress on your wedding day. My recommendation is when you're interviewing photographers it should feel like a person that you can get a beer with or a cup of coffee with. If you can have an hour-long conversation with this person and enjoy it, that's usually a good sign. Lastly, there are different mediums of camera that your photographer can shoot with. So some do purely digital and some do digital and film, which are going to have totally different aesthetics. If you're into film, but you also want digital, ask your photographer. They might do both, or they might only do one, and that might be a deal breaker for you. So those are my 5 tips, plus a couple of bonus tips for things to consider when hiring your wedding photographer. I hope they help. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next week for your tip of the week.